Good morning, everybody. Good to see everybody. I'm John, and this is Mark. Welcome to Fairfield Friends. I'll say at the beginning, we need to silence our phones, get them on airplane mode so we have enough bandwidth for the people on Zoom. And our opening hymn is going to be in the Worship and Song book, page 142, Mid All the Traffic. Well, I've been thinking about some of the messages that Phil has been giving lately about what Quakers have gotten right and what we've gotten wrong over the years. And it's made me think about decisions that we make in the moment, whether as individuals or in groups, and how often you don't know how they're going to turn out. You don't know whether they were the right decisions until afterwards, and only in retrospect can you evaluate. And that made me think of a poem by a woman named Marie Howe. She was one of 9 siblings, and she and her brothers and sisters grew up to have pretty different lives. She grew up to be a poet, of course, but there were certain brothers and sisters she had who grew up to have difficult lives and hard lives. And I think this poem is about making decisions and doing the best you can in the moment. And it's called The Game. And on certain nights, maybe once or twice a year, I'd carry the baby down, and all the kids would come, all 9 of us together, and would build a town in the basement, from boxes and blankets and overturned chairs. And some lived under the pool table, or in the bathroom, or the boiler room, or in the toy cupboard under the stairs. And you could be a man, or a woman, a husband, or a wife, or a child. And we bustled around like a day in the village until one of us turned off the lights, switch by switch, and slowly it became night, and the people slept. Our parents were upstairs with company or not fighting, and one of us, it was usually a boy, became the town crier. And he walked around our little sleeping population and told the hours with his voice. And this was the game. 9 o'clock and all is well, he'd say, walking like a constable we must have seen in a movie. And what we called an hour passed. 10 o'clock and all is well, and maybe somebody stirred in her sleep, or a grown-up baby cried and was comforted. 11 o'clock and all is well, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. And it went on like that through the night we made up, until we could pretend it was morning. Well, it's time for our community sharing, and we can start with the announcements. Is there anybody on Zoom who has any announcements? Nobody on Zoom. How about in the meeting? Anybody have any announcements?
Laura Day, there was an item in the June newsletter, and I just want to call your attention to it. We're planning or hoping we're going to take a pilgrimage to Civil War sites in Alabama sometime in winter or spring of 2025. But first we need to know whether you prefer going by car, caravan, or bus. And if you don't have your copy of the June newsletter, I do have these blue papers out in the meeting area that have some information about the trip, the cost, estimated cost. But we do need, if you're interested, your preference by August the 15th. And I've got my contact information on the blue paper. Responding does not obligate you to go on this trip. We're just trying to get an idea of what people would prefer as far as transportation. Thank you.
This is Phil Gulley. Just want to remind friends that on the last Sunday of August, I believe it's the 25th, we're going to have Sonia Hayes here with us with her wonderful violin. So it would be a great Sunday to bring a friend. Are you going to sing too? You're going to dance, okay. So mark that day on your calendars, and it'll be wonderful. So I hope you all can make it.
We'll just pass this microphone right along here. Joanne Gulley, just a reminder to the book club folks that next Sunday, which is the first Sunday in August, I don't know what day that is, we will be meeting for our next installment of book club. So be there, be square.
Mary Dooley. I have listened to a lot of people feeling really down and anxious about the state of our country. And there's a program going to be on Tuesday night by the Declaration for American Democracy, DFAD, Declaration for American Democracy, that you might be interested in because it's empowering and it's positive, and it's helping change the dialogue to something constructive. Tuesday night at 7, and it's a webinar. If you Google Declaration for American Democracy, you'll find it.
Hi, it's Becky McClung. I wanted to say a word about this Friday because it's Tom Farrington's celebration of life, and I believe it starts at 11. I'm upset for myself because I can't be here. But anyway, it starts at 11, and then with visitation, I believe, and then noon is the service. Is that right, Joanne? Just wanted to remind everybody.
And Tarvin, I have a secondhand announcement. The flowers up front, the ones on the table out there, and there are some more out in the dining area, and they are left over from Nancy Bill's funeral yesterday. And they asked me to announce that if you would like a bouquet, please just take them home. Don't worry about the vases. They bought them for that, so they don't need all of those vases. So if you'd like a bouquet, take a bouquet home.
Let us pray. Among all of our swirling concerns and the events of the world around us, we raise our eyes to you, and we look in hope for our deliverance. Move us in heart and mind to be concerned not just for ourselves, but for those around us who could use our smile, could use our good words, could use our prayers and concern, could use our help. Give us courage in the face of all that concerns us. For we come to you as dear children, we come to a dear parent, and we ask kindly, Amen.
And now's the time that we'll take up collection for Kunat. And we've got a couple of baskets up here that need to be filled. Thanks, Jimmy. Thanks, Phil.
I want to greet all the people on Radio Free Quaker. When Phil called me and asked me to do this, he did all the polite things about, if you don't really want to, you can say no. But I've heard that before. And from him. And then, I just thought back to all I've heard about Phil, in the underground Quaker world. You know what his nickname is in the underground? Phil the Lip. So, when I get scared, I try to remember a line from Carrie Newcomer's song, "A Shovel is a Prayer." And the line I try to remember is this: "For all your searching, there's nothing to do. What you've been searching for is looking for you." I'll admit that I've been scared. Maybe you have been too. I mean, there are those out there who would like to enforce Christian faith on people, which doesn't happen. But when it does, it's ugly. In the face of that, I want to know that the peace and love that I'm looking for is looking for me. Jesus told a story. He said that God is like a woman who had 10 coins, and one day she counted them and she had 9. What does she do? I'll tell you what she does. First the cupboard, then the closets, then under the rugs, then the cat box. And before you know it, she's turned the entire house upside down, and she does that until she finds the coin. And when she finds the coin, she calls up all her friends and neighbors to come over for coffee and cake, and it probably costs more than the coin was worth in the first place. Now, the question is, why does she do that? And I heard an old-time preacher who was rather sexist say, well, but she does that because she's a woman, with a snicker. I think that's not good. Why does she do that? I think she does that because she's a mother. She's used to being given the mission of finding all those things that are impossibly lost. Ma, where are my socks? Honey, have you seen my keys? Now, I have to go right now, but I think I saw the cat going in the attic. And you look, and you look, and you look. And the point is, the joy she has in finding that coin is the joy God has when He finds us. He's looking. Looking all the time. The love and the hope are looking for us all the time. For all your searching, there's nothing to do. What you are looking for is looking for you. When I was searching for a topic for today, I talked to my friend was looking, of course, through my fears, and I was talking to my friend about a place where he was at the time. It was a place of plentiful pizza. And I said, well, why don't they just call it heaven? And he said, you know, that's what you should talk about. You should talk about heaven. Now, I won't tell you what he thought was in heaven, nor what I thought was in heaven, but nevertheless, the problem with talking about heaven is that we focus on the wrong things. Try this. Once upon a time, there was a very rich man who didn't really want to let go of what he had. So he approached God and says, I want to take some of it with me. And he said, no. The rules are you can't take it with you. That's just the rule. Yeah, but I've done good things with people with my wealth. I've done really good things. He said, no, you can't take it with you. So he negotiated back and forth, and he even gave more stuff away. And finally, God relented and said, okay, you can take whatever you can put in that suitcase right there. Well, this set the rich man to real troubles. He was starting to wonder what he could possibly put in that suitcase. How could he get as much wealth in that suitcase as he could? Gave up on cash, gave up on coin, gave up on all of the stocks, he gave up on all that stuff, and he settled on gold bullion. That if he put gold bullion and he could wedge it in here just also, he'd be able to take the most amount of wealth with him. And don't you know, when he died, he took the suitcase along with him, got to the gates of heaven, and the angel said, you can't take it with you. He said, no, I talked with God about this. You got to call on up the line, and you'll find out that I've got permission to take this suitcase. I don't think you can do that. I don't think you can take it. He said, just call up. So he calls up the line, and the word comes back, yeah, let him in with the suitcase. So the angels are curious and says, whatever do you have in that suitcase that you thought you could take with you? They opened it up and looked. The angel looked down. He looked up and said, you brought pavement? It's all how you look at that, isn't it? The perspective changes when you look through God's eyes as to what's important and what's not. And what heaven is more like than pavement is being found. To know that it's looking for you all the time, and you are found. You are found by love. And it doesn't go away. No. It doesn't go away. Most of all, we're grateful that love has found us. And that animates our life toward sharing the love that we've been given. For all our searching, there's nothing to do. What you're looking for is looking for you.
Are all hearts clear? You know, sitting up here, it feels like a big responsibility to decide when to do the final hymn and the right time to stand up and when to bring the meeting to an end. And then I heard Mark's stomach start to growl. And I thought it was a sign that it was the right time. So our final hymn will be from the Sing Joyfully book, 171, Take Time to Be Holy.
For all your searching, there's nothing to do. What you've been searching for is searching for you. Go out in love. Shake hands.
Mark,
Thank you.
that was nice work.